Good evening and welcome to Suffering in Silence with Pastor Tia here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here with you every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Love Bay, as usual, we are rising out of the ashes together. Our topic on tonight is poetry and success for the Black woman. Our guest on this evening is Dr. Sakela Coles, author of Chocolate Girls Poems. And our co-host for the evening is Minister Ayanna Marks. So listeners, if you have any questions for myself or comments for our co-host and our guest as well, you can email us at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com. You can also text or call 437-778-3299. And we want to also remind you to please remember to like, share, and subscribe via whichever social media platform you're watching us by this evening. And we want you to remember that if you have resources that you would like for us to share from your community on a national or local level, you can email us as well at sufferinginsilencedv@gmail.com. And those resources can be from local organizations, from your faith community, again, local or nationally. With that, Ayanna, I would ask if you would go first and greet our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah. Good evening, Love Bay listeners. We have yet another amazing segment for you all. We just hope that you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy this segment. And we just hope that we are able to uplift and encourage our listeners during this segment.
Thank you. Dr. Coles, if you would please introduce yourself to Love Bay.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Sakela Coles, and I am an author. I'm also an educator. I'm also an organizer, and one of my favorite roles is mother of two young adults. I've also had the honor of serving as a presidential delegate for President Barack Obama in 2012. Also, I served as a member of the transition team for Governor-elect Tom Wolf back in 2014. And I also served as a local elected official. I was elected to council twice in 2013 and then reelected in 2017. Before I start discussing some of the thoughts that come to mind when I think of the success of the Black woman and poetry and some of the intersection that can occur with that, I do want to share a poem that I wrote earlier this year. And it's a poem that is dedicated to all women that have potentially suffered in silence, that need to really find their voice so that they can then become emboldened and empowered to share their story. If you give me 1 second.
Well, let me share some resources and then we'll start with that as soon as we get back. So Left Bay, we are still in the process of raising funds for our nonprofit Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc. If you would like to make a tax-deductible donation, you can write a check to Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc. We are at P.O. Box 15 in Drexel Hill, PA 19026. You can also visit a GoFundMe and find our page that way, which is also Rise Out of the Ashes, Inc. What we do is we support victims and survivors of domestic violence with transitional resources. I think the biggest thing that we do is providing immediate and emergency funding. We help with monies for doctor visits, for transportation. We've been able to relocate a couple of women who needed to be in a safe space. We help with utilities, rent, mortgage payments, whatever we can do. That's what we do. And so we need your help to be able to continue to do that. And again, my book, Suffering in Silence, is available on Amazon, and we do use proceeds from my book to help with this endeavor as well. I want to share the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services National Helpline. Their number is 800-662-4357. That information is in the United States. We have the Befrienders Volunteer Action to Prevent Suicide. To find a helpline by country, you can visit their website, which is befrienders.org. In the United States, we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Their website is thehotline.org. Their number is 1-800-799-7233. In Canada, we have the Canadian Women's Foundation. Their website is canadianwomen.org. Their number is 1-866-293-4483. And for more information, you can email info@canadianwomen.org. In Australia, we have the National Family Violence Counseling Service. Their website is 1-800-respect.org.au. Their number is 800-737-732. I'm sorry, there's a 1 in front of that in case that makes a huge difference. 1-800-737-732. And in the UK, we have the National Domestic Abuse Helpline. Their website is nationaldahelpline.org.uk. Their number is 0808-2000-247. Or you can visit Women's Aid, and their website is Women's Aid, AID, womensaid.org.uk. So, Dr. Coles, are you?
Yes, I am together. I apologize for the new school technology difficulty I was having. We're going to go old school. And this poem that I am sharing now is called A Struggle Like No Other. I can see it in her eyes when we pass one another. I know she's been through a struggle like no other. Black women have carried burdens for so long, the world expects us to always remain strong. But I know that's not true, sister. I've been you. I know that's not true, sister. I am you. Whether it's microaggressions from those non-melanin folk you work with, or disrespect and assumptions of not having any skill, lack of opportunities brings ill will. It's like they want us to do the work, but they want the thrill of accepting the credit for what we've created and made. Then you discard us and hope we fade to black. That's real whack. Or going through made-up accusations and no one having your back because they terrified of those in charge who benefit off of our struggles and are living large. I can see it in her eyes when we pass one another. I know she's been through a struggle like no other. Black women have carried burdens for so long, the world expects us to always remain strong. But I know that's not true, sister. I've been you. I know that's not true, sister. I am you. When your husband punched and shoved you down, you ain't alone in dealing with a heavy-handed clown, lying to family and loved ones to remain true to him. Why? He bruised you physically and mentally and made you cry. Keeping secrets to protect him and be strong, you can only keep it up, but for so long. I can see it in her eyes when we pass one another. I know she's been through a struggle like no other. Black women have carried burdens for so long. The world expects us to always remain strong. But I know that's not true, sister. I've been you. I know that's not true, sister. I am you. And that was A Struggle Like No Other.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. And thank you, Caleb and Kianga, for your supportive comments. That was beautiful. So before we move, you have to tell us where your book is available. Where can we get? I mean, I have mine, but like where can everybody else get there?
Yes. So the book can be purchased online via Amazon. If you go to amazon.com /author/Dr. Coles, my author page will be visible and you can purchase it online there, or you can contact me. I normally have copies in the car, or those that know me, text me, email me, and you can come by the house to pick up a copy, or just. But again, the option, there is a online option for those that's most convenient for, and it's also on Kindle.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And Kianga, I want you to know I saw your comment, and we're going to come back to that in a moment. Thank you, Zion. You see that, Dr. Cole? So before we move further into the book, I want you to tell us a bit more about Dr. Sakayla Coles. Tell us a bit more about you.
Okay, so so academically, if that's of interest to anybody, as I was telling this young dynamic sister Ayana, I'm a Lincoln alum. I'm saying that because she is a rising junior, I believe, at Lincoln University. Okay. And I'm a Lincoln University alum, undergrad. And before I went on to graduate school at Penn State to receive my MBA. And I 15 years ago, actually, to this month, I received my doctoral degree in public policy and administration from Walden University. So that's the boring stuff, the academic nerd, the nerd part of me. As I mentioned before, I'm a mom. I'm a mother of 2 young adults, my babies, Caleb and Celicia. Not sure if they're tuning in tonight.
Well, Caleb is. We know Caleb.
Okay. Thank you, Caleb. Yes, I'm a divorced mother of 2 young adults. And I have worked in education for over a decade, both at the higher ed level and in the K through 12 public school system. And I've also worked on political campaigns. One that ended most recently, I was a regional organizing coordinator for the Harris Walls campaign. And that was an amazing experience. That was an amazing experience, despite the outcome that we were given. It's an amazing experience, to the point where earlier today, there was an alumni call for the Harris campaign. And we were even blessed to have Madam VP and her husband, Doug, speak to us for a few minutes during that alumni call. But the main takeaway from the call is the level of community that was built from the people that worked on the campaign. So you had people, from all over the country, just, saying supportive things and being upbeat and positive, and people that are still continuing their activism and advocacy in different ways. So that was a very, very encouraging call that we had with Madam VP and Doug earlier today, which coincidentally, was the same day as you had invited me to participate in your show. So as I mentioned to you earlier, Pastor Tia, it is going to be an amazing August. We are claiming that already, right? It's going to be an amazing August for all of our sisters. And I just see this month as a lot of positive things coming into fruition for people, maybe projects that people have been working on for some time, finally, developing more, and procrastination leaving. And just, I think a lot of good things are going to happen, like a lot of full circle moments. And I'm claiming that for all of us.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nicole and Brittany, for your comments. I want to ask you, well, I think just simply, why poetry? Why express yourself through this medium to touch on the, as your book says, because life can be poetic. Why did you choose poetry to go this way?
I've always loved to write, but the reason why I did mention the work that I did recently on the campaign is because it was right after that election outcome happened that something pulled me back into writing. And when I first wrote, I actually was writing a poem as to, my feelings after the election. Like, wow, this country has showed Black women that they don't value us over and over and over again, right? They publicly, showed with Kamala's election, the attacks that they, threw her way and how they tried to demean her in every aspect. It was just, and we just had to see it, play out on the big screen. And I know a lot of Black women felt, it was very personalized, because we said, well, that would be us and how they're attacking. And there's not enough people coming to our defense to protect us. And something just came out of me, and I just started writing. And because there were so many themes and topics that I had experienced in different aspects of my life that I wanted to share, poetry was the best medium, because it allows you to tell a story in a quicker frame, right? So you can share something to somebody for it, in 1 to 3 minutes, but you're actually still doing, you're still telling a story, because it's all storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Just different styles. So with that, I've been able to write poetry about, intimacy, poetry about parenting, poetry about politics, poetry about domestic violence, right? Poetry about Black empowerment, Black joy. And, I just felt like, for some reason, I just wanted to get so much out. I felt like I had been repressing so much that I did want to share. And just to get it out and to get a lot of it out, covering the different things, poetry just came into my spirit.
Mm-hmm. So yes, thank you, Bethany. It is a language. So is this the first book of poetry that you've written?
It's absolutely the first book of poetry that I've written. Is the first book that I've published. Since then, I've written more poetry that I've been going back and added to this book. Some more poetry that I even, been writing in the past few weeks that I've not yet added. And then I wrote a parenting book. I wrote a parenting book for Black parents. In the midst of that, I think that was back in January of this year. And
is that available too?
Yes, and it's called How to Champion for Our Youth in High School, Dr. Sakella's interactive support book for Black parents. So again, I'm still telling my story. At one point, I was a parent of 2 children in high school at the same time. And I'm thinking of the different, skills and techniques that helped me during that time, especially, parenting by myself, right? So unique experience, but beautiful. So, and then also, I delved into writing short stories, adult short stories, fiction that also available. So I just feel that it's important for us to be comfortable in sharing our stories. And when you really, become comfortable, then you let it flow, right? And there's nothing inhibiting you from doing that. And I mean, I feel very empowered after I write a new poem.
Yeah.
Another feeling that I have is that I do sometimes feel depleted. Like I'm like, woo, that was a lot of thinking or a lot of energy or a lot of thought. But
yeah. Well, thank you, Sam. I do appreciate as well, Dr. Sakela, how you have articulated your poetry and the other writings that you have done. Then this question that I want to ask now, I actually want to ask this of you both. And Dr. Sakela, I'll ask you first. What has success look like for you? But then I want to ask the general question. What do you believe success looks like for Black women? And Ayana, I really, really want to hear your point of view, being in Lincoln and seeing what you see and being in the atmosphere that you're in. But yes, so Dr. Sakela, starting with you, what has success looked like for you? And in general, what do you believe success looks like for Black women?
So success oftentimes is survival, right? So some people might look at it as being Black women. I mean, just us merely being here is revolutionary, right? Because we come out the womb being discriminated against on so many levels. So success does not lie in titles, So success does not lie in credentials. Success lies in being at peace with yourself, right?
Yes.
We came in out the womb again with nothing. When we're buried or cremated, however, our wishes are to be taking, to be handled by our family, we aren't taking any of these material things with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be careful making monetary or credential or titles the epitome of success, and that only because oftentimes people are unhappy in
Yeah.
certain roles, and titles do not bring happiness and peace of mind. But so success is knowing that I am loved,
Mm-hmm.
and having the ability to give love back, to
Yeah.
my family. That inclusive, my children, my parents that I'm so blessed to have at the ages of 78 and 81,
Mm-hmm.
my sisters, and our close circle of extended family.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amazing.
that to me, that's success. Feeling love, knowing that there's people that I can call on, knowing that there's people that I can have fun and laugh and joke with, that I
Yeah.
can go to when I do want to cry, or when I just want to chit chat, or
Yeah.
gossip about one of the little ratchet shows that I might watch.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, on BT Plus or some other outlet, or a Lifetime movie. Um, and also knowing that you've given to some sort of community effort, volunteerism in some aspect, knowing that you've done that. So I know both, Pastor Tia, you and I are both survivors, and I admire, applaud, and thank you for giving back so much to,
Mm-hmm.
to domestic violence survivors, to domestic violence awareness, and to domestic violence advocacy. Um, because sharing your story is challenging. It
Yes.
makes you vulnerable. So I appreciate you. Thank you for your work. I did serve on the board for some years for the Domestic Abuse Project out here in Delaware County.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's important to give back, and even in informal ways. Again, you don't have to have a title to give back and support and
Right.
help and look out for your sisters. So I kind of went around the bend. I realized. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I got you. You went around the bend. I got to be
That's
dropped.
like joy, happiness, volunteerism, and love. And
Awesome.
also at times practicing self-care, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we can't all
Absolutely.
soft life, but we got to practice self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And self-care, can happen in so many different ways. I know one sister friend who told me she has flowers sent to herself every month.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's dope. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So whatever self-care
Yes.
looks like, it doesn't have to be something that, pulling you away a lot of time from work or loved ones. It can, and also you have to do it when you feel there's a need, because sometimes you need to do self-care and everything else needs to be put to the side, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Thank
So
you so much for that. So, Ayana, so for you, what does success look like for you personally? But then, what do you see success looking like in general for Black women?
So for me personally, success is like not giving up. Not giving up, like not wanting to mental health is a big thing. So sometimes like it can get
Yes.
depression, it could get like overwhelming, it could become a lot. But once you notice that, and once you are able to overcome it and not give up from it, that's success to me. Like being able to keep on going, like even when it feel like it's a hit after hit after hit, like being able to keep on pushing. That's what success looks like to me. And to what success looks like for Black women to me, it would be to, like you said, survival. Because I've seen it with, people that God has placed in my life, Black women that God has placed in my life. I've seen it with, my own grandmother and my mother. I've seen the survival skills that Black women have to use. And I admire that a lot, because it's like, to see, your mother pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep trying. It fills you up, and it motivates you to like, okay, like one day, like I'm going to make sure I'm able to take care of my mother the same way she takes care of me. So success
Yes.
to me looks like as for a Black woman is to like survival skills as well as loving who God created you to be. It's so many of our Black women who, you know, get discredited a lot or get talked down a lot, especially on social media. But being able to love who God created, like being able to love you for you and not to what the world wants to love you for, it's like it's an amazing thing and it's a beautiful thing as well, because you'll see a lot of Black women uplifting other Black women as well. Like you'll see them like putting a smile on their and on others' faces and, you know, encouraging them and lifting them up as well. And I feel like that's what success looks like to me for like Black women.
So Ayana, that's awesome, absolutely amazing. Dr. Sakela, I'm telling you, Ayana is on track. This girl rings this all the time. So I want to share my thought.
We are so proud of you.
Yes. I want to share my thought on the question that I asked, but then Ayana, I'll go to you for, you know, a question or comment that you may have for Dr. Sakela. But I believe for me personally, and also in general, I believe success, especially for the Black woman, it looks like and is having a voice, being able to express yourself, being able to express your needs, your wants, your desires, those things that you are fearful of without having backlash. Just being able to be free. I believe it's being able to say no when you want to say no. Yeah. It's being able to say yes. And I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to define it, like simply just because I am who I am. I have autonomy over myself. I can say no. I can say yes. I can say I need help, or I can say, you know, I that situation over there, I think I could bring some positivity to it. So I think that I can help over there. It's having that freedom to, you know, Ayana, like as you were saying, to be able to just to be yourself.
Yeah.
But I also believe, I truly believe that a part of success would be Black men standing up for us, to support us, to encourage us, to help us. Like TYB, like there are several Black female hosts on this program. Like if you go to Love Bay, go to the website, you will see several Black female hosts. Like we have our own shows. We're doing what we do because TYB created this and he helped us and he wanted us to be able to have our voice. And I can speak to myself wholeheartedly. I've never been told what to say. I've never been told, like, we need this program to go in this direction. We need you to do this because we want more listeners and viewers. And Dr. Sakela, you know, like this area right here, dealing with domestic violence, like this is very touchy. It can go left real quick. If you start wanting,
it's very touchy.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the organizations that exist are primarily, you know, really initially were catered towards women that did not look like us. And at times in the Black community is taboo to speak on certain issues. I mean, you know, a lot of that has changed more recently, but you know, we need to make sure that our social service organizations, in particular domestic violence organizations, have cultural competence as they deal with Black women. You know, they're not always dealing with a white woman in the suburbs.
And I think that goes back to having a voice. Somebody has to be able to speak up for us. Somebody has to be able to say, like, this is what is different about me. This is what is different about us. Or, you know what? This is what is the same. I need the same help that another woman would need, of a different race, of a different culture. So I believe having a voice and having men stand up for us, I truly believe is important. And I'm thankful for TYB being an example in that area. So that was my thought on that. So I don't know if you want to add to that, but definitely Ayana, you know, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Sakela.
No, I did want to just add that you talked about the need for Black men to really be a solid partner when we do look at the overall success of the Black woman. And that's just because, you know, we need that for the success of the Black family. But we, you know, collectively, our community, we really need to become more intentional and organized on protecting Black women. We are seeing too many Black women being under attack. I think Ayana alluded to it when she, brought up maybe social media attacks, but just in a bigger context than that, Black women are just, as Malcolm X said decades ago, not much has changed, right?
Yeah.
In terms of Black women being, undervalued, disrespected, unprotected. Not much has changed besides Black women just are collecting more degrees. We're becoming even more highly educated. We're still, obviously still flawless and beautiful and amazing, but we as a community have to really get together and become intentional about protecting Black women. So that lies on all of us, not just Black women or Black men, but all of us as a family, as a community.
Yes.
For us to truly be successful.
Ayana?
So the poem that you read earlier, it was an amazing poem. It really opened my eyes to see, things differently and how we interact with one another. And I was just wondering, like, how do you navigate your vulnerability in your writing? Like, is it hard for you to share, your thoughts and your emotions to the public, like writing books and stuff? Like, how do you go about it?
Oh, it is. So the first time I was kind of like, I felt very free, but then I felt like, oh my God, I felt like a little terrified. Like you're sharing a part of yourself with other people that you might never meet to an extent. And that, but then I kept thinking about the freedom that I felt.
Yeah.
And I felt like lighter also. And I said,
Yeah.
but why shouldn't my voice be heard? Why shouldn't I be sharing my thoughts? And hopefully my thoughts can help motivate, empower, or support another sister or just another person.
Yeah.
And just also as, things are very unsettled with, racial injustice and political injustice.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, it seems like there's even more thoughts that come to mind that I just, want to get out there. That is my way of reflecting and, relieving some of my stress or angst and anger as to some of the things that are happening. Because in advocacy, people are being activists in different ways, right? Yeah. It's not always, about holding up a poster sign somewhere. There's also, behind the scenes activity that occurs, and everybody plays a role. And sometimes we also just need nourishment for our souls.
Yeah. And so with that, I know that you're a mother of 2 young adults, and I was wondering how do you install in them to express their emotions and like to keep them uplifted, when they're in their down moments.
I've always asked them to come to me with anything and everything. I've told them there's never anything that you should be scared or ashamed about to talk to me about. And that's just because when I was a teenager and when I was younger, there were a lot of things that I was very scared to go to my parents about. So I wanted to make sure with my children, they knew they could come to me with anything and everything. And I will say this, they have over their life. So they took that literally, and it's good. I love my babies. I'm saying babies, they're now 20 and 23. But so they because of that, they're kind of free with what they tell me, which is fine. We're all adults.
Yeah.
And I've also always tried to talk to them about race and politics and the things that are happening, and making sure that they remain civically engaged. So that way they have even more confidence than I ever had. Yeah, I ran for local office. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was a delegate, but did I really feel confident in my voice? So I make sure that they both, have that strength and feel empowered to share their voice. And I see it already. I love it. And sometimes I look at my daughter like, wow, I wish I was like you when I was 20. So.
So that is awesome. That is amazing. And thank you for those beautiful questions, Ayana. So, but Dr. Sakela, I want to ask you specifically for the Black woman who's dealing with trauma, who's dealing with abuse, um, emotional and mental pain and physical that occurred at the hands of others. What would you say that success looks like for her?
Mhm. Being away from that trauma, conquering that trauma, achieving beyond that trauma.
Yeah.
Obviously, if that trauma is any type of physical, sexual, or intimate partner abuse, then immediately, by the grace of God, speaking out to someone. Anybody could be that outcry person. It might be a teacher in your child's school that you come in crying. You never know. But success for that sister in that situation would be just first to immediately be out of that situation, because just getting out of that is going to free her to even think about being successful in other ways in her life.
Yes.
For other trauma, finding that point where you are ready to talk about your trauma, because everybody heals in different ways, and trauma, as we know by its very name, is traumatic. So not everybody wants to relive it. So you have to first reflect inwardly, think, acknowledge that the trauma happened, acknowledge how you were victimized or a part of that trauma, and then start thinking, who do you trust to start sharing your story with? Release your story, then you're acknowledging it even more, and then you realize that you've let go of it, so that you aren't harboring it. You're always going to remember it, right? You can't take it away. It happened. You were traumatized in X, Y, and Z away. I've been through lots of trauma. I had a house fire where I lost everything in 2018, 7 years ago.
Wow.
That was a extremely traumatic event. Primarily, both my son and I were in the house. My daughter was at sleepover that weekend. I didn't think that trauma I would be able to survive. Sometimes people forget that it even happened, because and then, which is another thing you have to be careful with trauma. You can't keep going too fast, because sometimes you haven't healed from previous trauma. So you have to be very mindful of that. And then, you might have the episode of PTSD and all of that, which, is all a part of trauma and things that we don't want. But you have to, acknowledge that it happened to even begin properly on the healing journey, to even start achieving levels of success. And levels of success would be healthy relationships. Healthy relationships is so important, and not just intimate partner healthy relationships, but healthy friendships, right?
Yes.
You can't hang around people that knew things and allowed you to be victimized.
Yeah.
Because then that's saying, well, they don't really value my safety and, my mental health.
Yeah.
So healthy friendships, healthy families, ensuring that your children, if you have children, know what behavior is unhealthy, and that you never expect them to be in a situation to be on a receiving or giving end of any type of abusive relationship. So making sure you're in healthy relationships, and then regaining your voice, having confidence, and also being self-sufficient. And I'm not talking about just, financially something, being self-sufficient. So we know we have a village, we have a support group, but also we have confidence in ourselves.
Yes.
We're independent enough. We're self-sufficient. We can receive, and, we can be a part of, maybe a future relationship or a future marriage, but just ensuring that you got your own back.
Yeah.
Right? Because, we have to, once we, especially if as a parent, you do need to have a certain level of independence and self-sufficiency, because that's what you want for your children.
Yes, you want them to see that.
And they don't want to see you weakened. They don't want to see that, because then that can destroy their spirit and, and harm their confidence about their future.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I absolutely agree with that. I believe anyone in dealing with any type of trauma, especially domestic violence, I believe a first step of success, like you said, is being honest with yourself. Not lying to yourself anymore, not trying to cover up, not making excuses for him or her or the people or whoever it is that's hurting you, but being able to be honest with yourself about your situation, and then taking that step, whatever that step looks like for you, and getting help. So if it is a teacher at your child's school, if it is just walking into the police department, if it is just walking down the street or in the market and seeing a stranger and just like, can you help me? Whatever that looks like for you, getting that help, that's success. And I would say, do not measure your success by somebody else's story. Do not measure your success by somebody else, because I don't know what you went through. I don't know how you went through it, but that does not minimize me and the steps that I'm taking for myself. So you cannot compare yourself, your success, to another person, because, and a lot of times it's like social media. We're looking at lies and we don't know it. You're looking at some really pretty pictures that have been painted, and the lighting is right, and the pictures are good, the color. I mean, I was absolutely surprised when I saw the making of a food commercial one time. Do you know they actually painted the food? They painted the food to make it look, so it would come across on camera. I'm like, I would have never thought that. I thought a hamburger was a hamburger and they were taking this picture. No, they made a picture. They painted the lettuce, hanging on the side.
That's disturbing.
So that's why I didn't say the restaurant. But no, you don't look at somebody else's story. I mean, it's one thing to garner encouragement from someone else, but to try to walk in somebody else's steps and to measure your life, your self-worth, to measure your value, to measure your success by what somebody else has done or hasn't done, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I really want to stress that. Don't measure your success by what you see somebody else doing. Ayana, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I want to circle around back. You are a Lincoln alum. You did attend, an HBCU. And I was just wondering, like, how did attending an HBCU have such an impact on the wonderful woman that you are today?
Oh, well, that was beautiful. How kind of you.
I told you.
Yes. Go ahead, Sister Ayana, young queen. But yes, so being an HBCU alum has helped me survive life. Okay. In middle school, I was at a predominantly white school. It was a private school, and I was the only Black girl in my grade, and I couldn't stand it. And I remember saying, why can't I go to the public school like everybody else? My parents are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, we had you take this test to get in here, and you're in there. But so when I went to Lincoln, and you just feel right at home. It gives you that comfort, that confidence, that is just it's really like a different world that I used to watch when I was younger. That's before your time, Ayana. I think they have a new one coming out, maybe. So maybe you know what show I'm referring to. It also gave me greater strength for when I went to Penn State for graduate school, and it was back to being the only Black woman in classes. And when I first graduated Lincoln, I worked for City Financial, which is a company that is a subsidiary of Citigroup. And I was the only Black woman in my office. So, if I have not had my 4.5 years at Lincoln, I don't think I would have had the backbone to survive some future stages. Wow. Just being immersed in our people. I recommend all of our youth to go to an HBCU, whether it's right, right here in the Pennsylvania area, if you, Cheney, Lincoln, or if you're going all the way down to FAMU, or if you're going to, Clark Atlanta. My older sister is a Clark Atlanta alum. My mom to Howard for graduate school. I'm big on we need to be around our people, especially during these times. So even if, all the children don't go to a HBCU, if at least someone in the family goes so they can visit it and have that exposure, because now is really the time that we need to be drawing close to within our community.
Yeah. So just one more thing. How are you able to stay, uplifted and motivated in like environments that, may not may not welcome you as much, or like may look at you as like, the odd one out, or may not understand your voice? How do you stay uplifted in those environments?
Meditation, deep breathing.
Yeah.
Some affirmations before you enter that environment, and some more on the way home. And you just really have to draw on your inner strength and just, know that we are, revolutionary just by our being. We are Black women and we are thriving. So that's when you really have to draw on your inner strength, and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
That's amazing.
Awesome. Yes, it is. But before I move to the next question I was going to ask you, I want to say this. I wanted to go back to the comment that Kianga made. And I believe she said that in passing, you never know what someone is going through. And so she speaks to Black women, just so I kind of want to tie that into this thought that I'm thinking right now. It's far too common that we see, not just women in general, but I'm speaking of Black women. It's far too common to see Black women who are jealous of each other. Yeah. And jealousy can impede on your own progress if you let it. And so to be able to see a Black woman just in passing and say, hello, how are you? How are you doing? Or just leave it at hi, hello, that's a beautiful thing. And I want to specifically say, for me, when I first met Dr. Sakela, that was a blessing for me. Now, when I finished my bachelor's degree, I didn't have it in my hand and already knew that I was going to get my doctorate. I already knew I was going to roll through, the programs. I'm halfway through my master's right now. I know I'm going to get my doctorate. When I met Dr. Sakela, to me, that said, all right, God, you're showing me what I can have. Like, I had already had the thought. I was already in process. I was already on my way. I didn't see her and jealousy just took over. No, I saw her and I said, God, you let me see this. You let me see this woman so I can know, all right, I'm going to have my degree in my hand. And so there are two Black women, one being Dr. Sakela, that I know who have their doctorates. There's one white woman that I know who has her doctorate. I mean, these are people that I can call friends. And I'm like, God, you let me see this because I'm going to get it. You let me see this because I'm on my way to it. And so I want to say, when you see a sister, when you see a Black woman in front of you, if they are where you want to be, that's the time for you to ask questions. How did you do it? Can you encourage me? Can you support me? Can you show me? Or even just be able to just admire that, yes, she is in this position and I'm on my way to it. So I really do believe, if I see that you have written a book, if I see that you have taken this political office, if I see that you are working in this job, if I see that you have moved further in your education, that's not a slight on me. Like I said before, I don't know who said it, but I remember somebody saying, your success is not my failure. Your success truly is an encouragement to me. And so that's a point that I really would love to just put out there. We don't have to be jealous of each other. We don't have to tear each other down. Even if you are in a place that I don't desire to be, then, oh, well, if that's what you want, then I'm happy for you because you have what you want. I'm happy for you because you're safe, because you're doing what you want to do. And if you are not safe, then I believe, we have a responsibility. What can I do to get you in a place where you are okay, where you are safe, even if it's just sharing a resource, even if it's saying, I can connect you with this person, or here's this website, here's this phone number. I just believe we should not allow negative feelings of jealousy and envy to take over what could be some beautiful relationships or really acquaintances that, if we're colleagues, we might work together on a project in the future. We may be able to brainstorm, or let me just bounce an idea off of you. It may be a one-off conversation, but something great could come from that. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Beautifully said, because we all have the responsibility to help pull, one another up. So that's the other side of that. Everybody should be thinking of pulling one another up, because our community is, is better when we are all doing better. Right. So why would we want anybody in our communities to suffer or to want to attain more, and we're able to provide support, nurturing, or connections, and not do that should be our responsibility as a community, as the Black community.
So Ayana, did you want to add to that before I ask my next question?
When you were talking, it reminded me, the saying, like, comparison is the thief of joy. When you keep comparing yourself or trying to compete, with somebody else, it's like you're only draining yourself, and you only, putting yourself down. But if you just take a moment and look at that person, look at their success, maybe like ask for help. I feel like, especially in my generation, a lot of our young people are afraid to, just ask for help. They're afraid somebody gonna look at them like they're crazy, or somebody gonna be like, oh, you want to you copy enough of me, you want to be like me. And it's like, it's not like that. It's like, well, maybe I just want to reach that same success point that you reach. Like, maybe I just need someone to motivate me. Maybe I just need somebody to push me. Maybe I just need that one person, that one thing that God has placed in your life to, remind you, like, you're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay. Like, you're gonna have it. Like, it may not be right now, like right the way you want it, but you're gonna have it eventually. So that's what it reminded me of. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Ayana. So we're just under the hour, but I want to get this question in before I have a few more questions, but I want to get this last question in. So Dr. Sakayla, thinking of who you are today, Dr. Sakayla Coles today, what would you say to yourself in your younger years at 18, 20, 24? And it's a two-part question. So I'm asking, what would you say to yourself? But I'm also asking, what would you say to the younger generation of women, Black women today? So like Ayana's pool. So what? Because you live life. You've been through some stuff. What would you look back and say?
I would say to myself, be kind to yourself and love yourself. Those two things in particular come to mind: to be kind to yourself and to love yourself, to not love anyone greater than yourself, to have that love for yourself, because that's the only way you can properly give it to the other person. So nothing specific in terms of don't do that or shoulda, woulda, coulda, no regrets, because we're already here. So there's that part.
Well, that is amazing. I want to thank you so much for being here with us. We're just under the hour, so I want to give you opportunity to, if you want to share another poem. Do you want to share another poem? Yes, okay, so I want to give you opportunity to do that. Oh, wait, I have to throw this in there. Okay, so Left Bay, this is the Dr. Sakayla Coles. Remember when I told you all about Carl from Congress?
Oh, Carl Morris, yes.
Yes, he was on a program. And so I was telling everybody, look, that's how I connected with Carl, because there was a poem you were reading about the sister friends, sisterhood, and like
Yes.
at the end, he was
Yes.
like, "Don't forget about us." I'm like, "You just crashed our moment." Like,
Oh, yes, yes. And you had him on the show last month, right? I
yes,
remember.
yes, he was with us. So yes, that's how I came to be Dr. Carl, because he that he had a valid point. I just told him he should have held it for.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So the poem that I'm going to share now is gives me thoughts of Black joy. And it's called Our People Find a Way to Celebrate. Whether or not things are that great, our people find a way to celebrate. Surviving day by day or plans lined up for a decade. I'm not trying to throw no shade on others, but y'all not like us. Basically, we look different, feel different, and do things different. Don't make a fuss. We have showed up for everyone despite dealing with trauma inflicted on us. We didn't create the drama, but it's been thrown our way. Whether or not things are that great, our people find a way to celebrate. We flourish in every setting we're placed in. We shine greater than everyone else with less than all the things that we should have. No stress. We keep going and make things go from a mess to being blessed. Black women will churn out degrees like it's going out of style, raise kids, hold down multiple jobs, perform miracles with meals, and please, have you seen how they look all beautiful in every size and shade, whether the hair is pressed, natural, locked, weave, braided, or shaved, despite all the odds that are against them? Whether or not things are that great, our people find a way to celebrate. The swagger of our Black men is such no one can imitate. Their opinions, their voices, and their strength bring so much to their families and our communities. Oh, and their touch to their women. Black men protect, cover, and shield as much as they can, despite the way the world has tried to strip them from being a man. Whether or not things are that great, our people find a way to celebrate. I hear the laughter of Black children over everyone else. Our children have dealt with more than anyone else. So when they finally are able to laugh, it better be loud. Louder than any voices that wouldn't let them feel happy or proud. Louder than anyone that does not allow them to just be a child. It might seem wild, but whether or not things are that great, our people find a way to celebrate.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And Love Bay again, Chocolate Girls Poems, because life can be poetic. Dr. Sakayla Coles, and her books are available on Amazon. We thank you
Yes.
so much, Dr. Coles, for being here. And we would love for you to come back. I would love for you to come back 2026.
I love it. It's already agreed on. Thank you so much for hosting me, Pastor Tia, and also Sister Ayana. And this was a wonderful time. Definitely very moving conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look forward to coming back. But I'll be talking to you obviously sooner than that, Pastor Tia.
Yes.
Thank you, Ayana, my information if she would like to reach out.
Yes, absolutely. So before we go, I just want to give you just, a couple minutes. Ayana, I ask you to go first. Just, leave Left Bay with your final thoughts on tonight. Ayana.
First of all, Dr. Coles, you are like amazing. Like your poetry is amazing. The way you speak is amazing. The way you are able to, talk about your personal feelings, you are able to, make sure your voice is heard is so amazing. And it actually, it lifts me up as well as a young lady in this generation. It lifts me up to, not be afraid to use my voice and not be afraid to speak up. And also to you, Pastor Tia, your strength and being able to hold strong even, when times get hard. Both of you guys' strength, it strengthens me, and because it strengthens me, I'm able to go out and strengthen other people. So just a little words of encouragement, to never give up, never lose hope, never lose sight of what God has planned for you. Sometimes we may not see it clearly, sometimes it may not be visible, and sometimes it may not even come the way we want it. But never lose hope in what God has planned for you, because His Word says He has the plans to take care of you, not abandon you, and plans to give you hope in the future. So always be vigilant, always be open minded, and never be afraid speak up. Never be afraid to use the voice that God has blessed you with it, and never be afraid to tell someone how you feel. Never be afraid to let it out, let out your emotions, let out your anger. Like sometimes you just have to let it out and don't let it bottle up. So my words of encouragement is to never be afraid. Just always be you, because God created one of you. So just always be you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayana. Thank you so much. And Dr. Sakila, if you would give us our final words for this evening.
Most definitely. Just as I said, I would share with my younger self. I just want to make sure all of our beautiful sisters know to be kind to yourself, take it easy on yourself, be gentle with yourself, and to always just love yourself unconditionally so that you can enter and be a part of any relationship wholeheartedly and clear-minded.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much again for being here with us on tonight. Love Bay, thank you for being with us. I want to thank all those who gave comments. Thank you, Nicole, Bethany, Caleb, Kianga. Just thank you so much for being with us. And if you want to catch up on previous episodes of our program, you can visit our YouTube channel, Suffering in Silence DV. Please also remember to like, share, and subscribe via whichever social media platform you're watching us by. Thank you so much again for joining Suffering in Silence with Pastor Tia here on Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. We're here with you every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. Love Bay, we're rising out of the ashes together. Good evening.